The universe is under the control of an evil empire called the Motherworld, led by Balisarius, who seized power after the royal family was assassinated. Rebel groups are forming on various planets, prompting the Empire to send soldiers to crush them. Admiral Atticus recently landed on Velt, demanding the farmers prepare all their grain for his army, promising to return in 10 weeks. Giving up their harvest would leave the village starving, so former Empire soldier Kora and her boyfriend Gunnar gathered a group of warriors to fight back. They encountered Atticus at a trading post, and Kora defeated him in battle. However, the Empire recovered Atticus' body and healed him, and now he seeks revenge. On Velt, Kora and Gunnar return to their village with a team of warriors. A robot named Djimon, once part of the Empire, observes from a distance. Former soldier Rees has betrayed the Empire, and when his commander calls about the harvest, he pretends his team is fine, though Kora killed them all. Rees is now on the village's side and warns them the Empire will arrive in 5 days. General Titus gathers everyone and suggests using the grain to protect their houses, as the Empire won't bomb valuable supplies. He also announces that the warriors will train the villagers in military tactics. Later, Gunnar and Kora share an intimate moment, and Kora reveals she's Balisarius' adopted daughter and was once a top soldier and the princess bodyguard. The king decided to pursue a peaceful political approach, which Balisarius hated because it reduced his power. Balisarius and other lords ambushed the royal family. Balisarius killed the king and queen, while Kora, following orders, shot the royal guards. When she hesitated to kill the young princess, who forgave her, Balisarius forced Kora to shoot. Instead of thanking her, Balisarius blamed Kora for the murders and ordered her arrest. Betrayed, Kora killed her teammates to escape, but couldn't shoot her father. She fled, changed her name, and hid on Velt as a war orphan. In the present, Atticus, frustrated in the medical bay, kills a doctor to be released. He keeps a scar from Kora as a reminder of his need for revenge, calling her the Scargiver. For 5 days, the villagers and warriors wake up early to work on the harvest, bonding and improving their teamwork. They reap, gather, thresh, and turn the grain into flour. Nemesis bonds with the local children, helping her heal from her loss. Titus avoids alcohol, drinking only water to stay sober. Rees keeps lying to his commander about the missing soldiers, saying they are guarding the harvest. Atticus, however, suspects Rees is lying and believes Kora is involved. When the harvest is done, the village celebrates. Sam gives each warrior a banner representing their personalities, and the villagers dance and drink. Titus sings a nostalgic tune, heard by Djimon on the hills. The next day, the real training begins. They move the grain from the barns into the village, surrounding each house with it. They dig a hidden trench in the fields for a surprise attack. Rees brings out the weapons left by his former team, and the villagers find hunting rifles and knives. Kora and Titus teach them to shoot, while some prefer blades similar to farming tools. Sam becomes a natural shooter. They drag and repair Kora's old escape ship from the mountains. Rees ensures it's functional, and Kora test drives it successfully. The night before the enemy arrives, Titus suggests everyone share their reasons for fighting the Empire to strengthen their bond. He starts, revealing he was once an imperial general. A colonized realm voted for independence from the Empire, but Balisarius ignored their wishes and sent Titus to attack the capital. Titus refused and his ship was shot down, but his team supported him. They fought the Empire but were overpowered. Titus offered to surrender in exchange for his men's lives, but his plea was ignored and his team was executed. Guilt-ridden, Titus vowed never to surrender again. Inspired, the other warriors shared their stories. Milius, from a humble farm, saw her people give everything to the soldiers, but were still sent to labor camps. She ended up in a mining operation until the resistance freed her. Since then, she's been fighting the Empire. Nemesis, from a small fishing village, saw her village destroyed and her family killed by the Empire. After a breakdown, Nemesis sought revenge and found hidden weapons from when her village was a pacifist. She'd never spilled blood before, so she used molten metal blades to scar herself, part of an ancient rite allowing her to replace her arms with mechanical gauntlets. Tarak then shares that he was the prince of his planet. His father, the king, was killed by the Empire after trying to negotiate. When enemy ships invaded, they destroyed everything. His mother, the queen, couldn't bear it and ended her life. Tarak escaped on a refugee transport, hoping to preserve his bloodline. After everyone shares, Titus asks for Kora's story. She briefly says she's a war orphan and former Empire soldier. Titus is suspicious but doesn't press. The next morning, Kora flies to the mountains, enters a cave behind a waterfall, and meets with Djimon. They bond over their pasts with the Empire and their new purpose of protecting the innocent, though Djimon doubts their chances of winning. In the village, the locals finish hiding bombs in the trench just as the enemy ships arrive. As everyone rushes to their positions, Atticus uses a radar to scout the area. He sees the grain is being used as a shield, so they can't fire, but notices all the women and children in the longhouse. Atticus plans to pretend to negotiate with Kora while sending men to the longhouse. Smaller ships land, and Atticus meets with Kora, who offers the grain to avoid bloodshed. Atticus demands a bigger reward and says his men are surrounding the longhouse. To protect the villagers, Kora signals her friends to step back and agrees to go with Atticus. She says goodbye to Gunnar, who steals her gun and signals the battle by shooting the town bell. The fighters open fire, blowing up an enemy ship and scattering the soldiers. Gunnar and Kora use the chaos to escape on a mount. The explosion gives the villagers an advantage, and Empire soldiers fall. Furious, Atticus enters the trenches, killing villagers to disrupt their organization. Surviving soldiers try to escape, but the villagers throw bombs, quickly bringing them down. In the longhouse, soldiers burst in, and Nemesis fights with her blades while Eris and Sam back her up with guns. Nemesis takes down several soldiers, but they keep coming. Atticus leaves the trenches and boards a ship near the longhouse. A villager tries to attack him, but is easily overpowered and killed by Atticus. Meanwhile, Kora and Gunnar use a smoke bomb to pretend their ship is shot down. Disguised as soldiers, they enter the main enemy vessel and pretend to be unconscious, getting taken to the infirmary. In the village, Titus and Tarak give inspiring speeches to their teams, launching a fierce attack on the soldiers. In the longhouse, Nemesis continues to fight, but eventually loses her mechanical arm. Sam is overpowered, but Eris saves her by tackling the soldier. Despite being wounded, Nemesis keeps fighting but is knocked down and stabbed. A child stabs the soldier attacking Nemesis, allowing her to strike back and kill the last enemy in the longhouse. The child hugs Nemesis, who says goodbye and dies. In the trenches, most of the team is dead, so a villager activates the bombs, taking down many soldiers. However, more cavalry arrives, making it hard for Tarak's and Titus' teams to defend the village. Soldiers bring in automatons that fire rapidly. While the villagers fight back, Milius sneaks through the smoke, kills a few soldiers, and disables the automatons, giving the villagers a chance. On the main vessel, Kora and Gunnar wait for the right moment to kill the surrounding soldiers. They share a kiss and split up to plant bombs. Initially unnoticed in their uniforms, Kora is soon spotted in the power core room. She shoots the soldier and fights her way through the lower floor. A soldier alerts Atticus, who is pleased that Kora is captured. Seeing her as his ticket to success, he orders his men to open fire on the village, ignoring the grain and the soldiers they might lose. In the village, another automaton arrives with more soldiers, and hope dwindles. Suddenly, Djimon appears, moves at incredible speed, kills many enemies, and blows up the automaton, giving the villagers a fighting chance again. On the vessel, Gunnar waits for Kora, who keeps encountering enemies and can't stop fighting. She steals a blade and meets Atticus as his men ready the cannons. The bombs explode, shaking the vessel and causing the cannons to miss the village and hit the hills. As the vessel begins to fall, Gunnar tries to help Kora, but is shot. Kora and Atticus engage in a sword fight, sliding around the room as the vessel falls. Kora kicks Atticus off, but he holds on and attacks again. They lose their blades and Atticus jumps on Kora, trying to choke her. Gunnar interrupts, stabbing Atticus with a blade. Kora pushes Atticus off, traps him in a door, and cuts off his head. Kora and Gunnar escape on her old ship just before the vessel crashes. Kora's ship lands roughly, and she rushes to help Gunnar, but he dies in her arms. At that moment, the resistance arrives with their ships, helping the villagers finish the battle and defeat the enemy, leading to celebrations on the ground. That evening, everyone gathers to say goodbye to Gunnar, Nemesis, and the fallen villagers, burning their banners along with their bodies. Feeling guilty, Kora shares her backstory. Titus reveals a big secret. The princess isn't actually dead because she holds a great power. Kora decides to find her and continue fighting the Empire to free other planets, and the rest of the warriors, including Jimmy, promise to help. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy to hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice, just to be sure. It would be best if you watched the whole movie. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for more videos like this.